What's up, Patriot Nation? You know, we're going to be taking a look back at the Pro Bowl, really breaking that down play by play, looking at the drop of the ball from the drones. I'm just kidding. We're talking Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. This is Patriots Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Every day, one more yard.
Get it. What's that?
The Patriots of the Super Bowl.
I have to agree with old Tom. The waiting is
It is indeed
the hardest part. Not as hard as it used to be.
Whew.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Man, Sunday, it just can't get here fast enough.
I feel like now we know how to pace ourselves a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
don't eat up all the hype. Don't drink in all the little sound bites from the other team.
You know? I know
yourself a
Bill
little
likes to
time.
say that experience doesn't count. That's once they kick off the ball. But this week, it really counts.
It definitely counts.
You know? So,
Definitely counts.
what's up, Patriot Nation? Thanks for dropping in on us. Alongside Denny Harris, I'm Mike Conley. This is Patriots Wrap 360. Denny, why don't you tell the folks how they can get in touch with you?
Sure thing, Mike. You can find me on Twitter at Dehaas, Deehaas. How about you, Mike?
I love that. Still not on the social media, but thanks for tuning in this way, gang. This is our weekly relevant discussion on all things Patriots.
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl week. So
Pretty
if you want to
exciting.
steer that relevant discussion in a different direction, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can hit up Dehaas on the Twitter, or you can hit us up on the YouTube chat room if you're following along live with us. If you listen to us later in the week or checking us out, hit us up in the comment section. All right, because we'll be here next week for our final show, hopefully in good spirits.
Great spirits, my friend.
Hopefully we'll be talking about a nice Patriot win, and we'll be talking about kind of end of the year awards, things like that on the Patriots, best offensive player.
I look
best,
forward,
you
I look
know,
forward
stuff
to
like-
that.
Do you look forward to that?
conversation.
So you guys get your beans working on that. You know, we're thinking, best offensive player, best defensive player, best offensive rookie, best defensive rookie, maybe the newcomer on both sides of the ball too. And we'll just talk about some end of the year stuff, and hopefully, like I say, it will be a celebration. But as of now, big showdown, 6:40 Eastern Time Sunday at Nerg Stadium.
Is that what's kickoff? Is it actually?
I believe 6:40 Eastern, right? That's about right.
Yeah.
Well, it just seems like it's getting later and later. I remember when
Yeah.
it, like, for a while it was like 6:18,
Yeah.
but I don't believe that is maybe, double check your local listings. Don't trust me.
Don't dress that guy.
Oof. So how's it been going for you this week? Because I got my Pats gear on this week, and here in lovely Los Angeles, it's a bit of lightning rod. This is one of the times where, not very often times in January, am I honing for the homeland, am I pining for the homeland, shall we
Right.
say? But this is one of those weeks where it is, because everybody's got an opinion.
Oh yeah, no question. I don't know about you, I still encounter a lot of haters, and the experience, I guess, on the fan side of things is that I don't take the bait anymore, but I still meet a lot of guys that just they want to just start chirping. They want to talk about how great the Falcons are, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. That's good, solid opinion. They do look like a good team, but also I still get a lot of those Brady baiters about his place in history and all that jazz.
They're just trying to get a rise out of you.
They are.
Agent Coolion.
They are.
I
Works sometimes, but trying.
Keep your head. Keep your head.
I heard a great analogy. I've never heard it made before, but I feel like it's the ultimate trump card should anyone else out there in Pats Nation encounter these knuckleheads that I do on a fairly regular basis. But I heard a guy today compare Super Bowl trips for Patriots to Olympic medals. I've never heard this used before. A lot of times us, football fans out there, when we're talking about weighing someone's greatness, we might say, yeah, well, he's got, like Marino, well, he lost his Super Bowl trip, or Tom Brady, people will try to take away from him. Well, he lost two of them. But if you think of those as silver medals, so he's got 4 gold, he's got 2 silver, and he's about to add to that. I heard that earlier today, and I quite liked it.
So Dan Marino is no longer the winless wonder. He is
He's
a
got
silver medalist.
Sure.
Wow. I'm sure he likes that.
He would like that. He absolutely would.
That's
Old
great.
Dan.
Old Danny boy.
But I kind of liked it. I don't know. Maybe you not as much.
Oof. Let's dive right into this game. I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of talk has been put on, you know, highest powered offense versus, you know, the top rated defense point wise.
Right.
This reminds me a little bit of Super Bowl 36, where the Rams were the huge offensive firepower, you know, powerhouse, but greatest show on turf. And the Pats D was just kind of like taking form as that defense they were going to be for the next 4 or 5 years there. And slightly disrespected, I believe. Really given no chance.
And you feel that way?
I mean, it's me trying to feel that. I mean, obviously, the Pats are faves, and they were 2 touchdown underdogs in that one.
Yes.
But it seems like the defense still doesn't get any disrespect. It gets disrespected. And, you know, like even the knuckleheads I was talking to this week, well, obviously they were knuckleheads, so they weren't going to make a good point regardless. I usually just verbally undress them for like 10 minutes and then
the best move.
See if like they have any football knowledge whatsoever, and then probably ultimately dismiss them and be like, offer it up. The words of my mom come into me, offer it up, offer it up. Don't whack him in the teeth, even though that might be what he needs. You know?
Offer it up.
Offer it up. But
the offer's on the table.
But I mean, they keep saying, oh, they haven't played a good quarterback yet. I was like, oh, Ben Roethlisberger pretty good too.
Not a bad guy.
You know, and like I can kind of understand where they're coming from. Yeah,
He's
but
elite.
I mean, all the better because like if we can come in under the radar and upend this team,
right? I think the defense. It's hard to argue. I mean, I see your point definitely, and I've heard that defensively, there's no question. All year, they've been discredited. That's, you know, Patriots haters' favorite thing is to throw. You know, that's their favorite thing to do is throw how weak our division is. Our schedule is weak, which is certainly not incorrect. Especially this year, we had a pretty soft schedule. Mm-hmm. Another team that had a pretty soft schedule this year, the Atlanta Falcons.
right?
So you know, I feel pretty decent about where things stand on the matchup as far as you know, the Falcons have a powerhouse offense, Patriots have a powerhouse defense. Turns out the Patriots have a very good offense as well. You might even call that a powerhouse offense. Falcons D not quite a powerhouse.
Yeah,
average to below average.
That's true. When you look at it that way, it is very encouraging.
If you want to simplify the game, advantage Patriots, I think. Mm-hmm. And I try to be as unbiased as possible. I'm normally one of the most nervous fans I know, but I feel pretty confident going into this week.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I mean, any given Sunday, as we know, and we've seen over the years, but...
Yeah. What did you think about today, getting off the breakdown for a sec, but it was the Goodell's State of the Union, which usually happens on the Friday before the Super Bowl. He did it Wednesday this year.
Right.
You know, old Boston Globe, Dan Shaughnessy got him on the grill right there. Like, it seems like the Patriots fans are at a war with you. So how do you feel about that? Is it awkward? He's like, no, it's not awkward.
It's not awkward
but
at all.
Did you hear his comments?
I didn't hear it. I saw like a tweet out there that said, Roger Goodell said, no, it's not awkward. Awkwardly.
Right.
You know?
Well,
while being awkward.
But it's funny because he goes, like early in the thing, he's like, well, if I was invited up there, I'd definitely, you know,
right,
have gone and all this stuff. And then later on, he says, well, if I told Robert Kraft I wanted to come up there, I'm sure he'd extend me the invitation.
Yeah.
So now I'm waiting for that third question.
Which way is it, buddy?
Then did you ask him if you
Right.
could go up there? And
Right.
why didn't you if you didn't? You know,
Why
it's
not,
like,
pal?
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Dude.
I don't know if it was an official comment from Kraft, by the way, too, but he said, you know, should we win this game, what better opportunity for him to come out than first game next year?
Right.
Join in the celebration, pal. You know?
Oh, man.
But yeah, as much as I'm tired, you know, when we've talked about it, I'm as tired as anybody of you know, hearing the Deflategate stuff. But I do think, you know, Pats Nation is hungry for that moment. And I really do think, based on the fact that it's, you know, potentially would be number 5 for Brady, I feel this build up to this being one of the more, if not, you know, the most emotional Super Bowl for him. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but you just see that emotion welling up in him, and I think, you know, despite all the, you know, good talking points that he always delivers on and playing, you know, taking the high road, which I think he'll continue to do, I feel like you can see it just beneath the surface, and that it means a lot. The guy's character was trampled basically for 2 years nonstop. I mean, it's almost easy to forget that since Deflategate started, the dude already has one Super Bowl victory.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's right. He immediately
he can
won
throw
us.
a regulation ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just think after the character assassination that went on, it's gonna mean a lot should the game go as I think it will.
And as we saw a couple nights ago, that those emotions are kind of running high for Tom Brady, right underneath the surface of that heart. And this is why we love this guy.
Right.
Those emotions, they're right there. And
Oh, yeah.
That 10-year-old kid got it out of him when he asked him about his pops and who his hero was. You know.
Oh yeah, it was great.
And just in
Great
case there
moment.
was any women on the planet that didn't want to sleep with Tom Brady,
There it is.
he just wrapped up the rest of them right there.
There it is.
You know.
I heard somebody said that that jacket that he was getting mocked for, the giant jacket a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
it was just big enough to contain the chip on his shoulder.
Oh,
Hey, bro. Goddamn right.
I do remember joking about that in the game. It was a big jacket.
It was a pretty big jacket.
What do you think about Marty B taking the bait on the whole White House question? You know,
Hate to get into that stuff right now,
Yeah.
but yeah, Marty's like the one wild card still. You just don't know. He will take the bait, and he has kind of done so all year. It's kind of consistent with who he is. So there's certain guys in the locker room that have a little bit more wiggle room, and he's obviously proven himself to be one. It'll be interesting to see
yeah.
if he should stick around, if that will get curtailed a bit. But yeah, more power to the guy. I mean, unlike Brady, who's been able to kind of sidestep it all, it's an interesting time right now. So obviously these guys are human beings living in America. They have opinions, and
Right.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Boston's a hub of it's a pretty liberal city. So I know historically, I can think back to Tim Thomas not going and
True.
and that wasn't really well received. So now that the shoe's on the other foot, I mean,
It seemed like not a big deal was made about it. Maybe it's just because, it's all media day and they really want a big shoe to drop. But that was small. And they tried to get Edelman to take the bait on it, I think, yesterday. And he was just like, no, I'm not touching that.
I wouldn't touch it either. I mean, yeah, I hardly even want to talk about it or think about, let's see how the game shakes out before we talk about the White House trip. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll circle back to that in a week's time.
Yeah, and it's like, then I hear like people on like Sports Nation on ESPN chiming in like, what a coward that Brady's not like
Right.
like answering questions about Trump and all this stuff. It's like, no, he's just a laser focused 4-time Super
Right.
Bowl champion, and he knows what it takes to win the game, and it isn't climbing up that friggin' tree or whatever the hell it is.
I mean, it literally has nothing to do with the game, regardless. I mean, regardless of how you feel about it. So,
It's like, how do you feel about it?
well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, Mike, no, I have some pretty strong feelings about all of it, but it doesn't relate to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, my long and short of it is, this guy who owns a lot of golf courses said, "Hey Tom, you want to come play on my golf courses?" Tom likes golf, so he keeps in touch with this guy. He has phone calls with him, once a quarter. He'd never in his life did he think this guy was going to run for president.
I mean, who did?
And
certainly no. I mean, who thought he was going to win?
So it's like, who knows who he even voted for? That you were allowed to keep that to yourself.
The flip side of it is he is the guy who decided to put, everything he does is calculated, and he did, mysteriously have a Make America Great hat in his locker. So to some extent, he did make his bed. So I can see that side of it.
Yeah.
Personally, to me, not to get super political here, even though it's right there, but if you're a rich white man and you voted for Trump, it kind of makes sense to me. Everyone else, if you're not rich or white, I'm not sure. That you might have to have a different conversation.
Yeah.
But either way,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, should the game go well. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit more about the outlook.
Yeah.
Because that might put. Yeah.
Let's just put it to bed.
Yeah, please.
So let's look
Please do.
more of this breakdown. Let's start at the top and let's talk about the head coaching position. Now, Dan Quinn has been to 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls. Bill Belichick only 2 out of those 4.
There you go.
Advantage Falcons.
I'd say no. No advantage. Did you see the bro hug gate?
The bro got miss.
Yes.
I mean, why doesn't Bill just give the stern elbow grab?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say Bill's a socially awkward guy. I mean,
No
the
doubt.
guy's not necessarily Joe Cool out there.
the guy's been holed up watching tape for the past 60 years.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
He's not exactly, and thank God for him. You
Right,
know?
right. More power
Rex
to you.
Ryan's a social guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
How's that
also
working
like
out?
working for Fox.
Probably gives a mean handshake, high five, bro hug, but you know,
He sure does.
hey, he might be able to read social cues, but I preferred my coaches reading the breakdowns before games. And
Yes, and this really kind of it plays up as because there is like tremendous athletes on both sides of the ball. This is going to be a hell of a chess match, and I just feel so confident in those chess matches because we have the
too.
best chess player. You
I do
know,
too.
and not to mention his minions too.
very
Patricia and McDaniels. I mean, these guys are in that same mold of being great X's and O's guys on their particular sides of the ball.
absolutely,
And it's funny when you kind of look at McDaniels and how he pits up against his foe on the other side, the offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan on that
Hey,
side.
good morning, Kyle. Nice new backpack.
Oh, how about Kyle getting his backpack thieved at the media night?
pretty amazing.
That is so awesome. Nice new backpack, Kyle.
Very careless, very careless.
Oh my!
You got to be careful these days.
Yeah, so I mean, half his head, 1 foot out the door, half his head's already in Niner Nation. And Josh McDaniels said, no, I'm going to come back. It's best for my family. I'm focused on us winning the Super Bowl. Advantage Patriots in
Right.
that regard, too.
Right.
So I really think, as far as the brain trust goes, that's a check mark in the Patriots column.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect too to think about in the game, because obviously leading up to even just at the beginning of the postseason, Pats Nation, definitely we were kind of preoccupied with, like, should one of these guys go or both of them, what's the impact going to be?
Right.
And this guy literally has 1 foot out the door, and we'll see. Maybe there will be an impact.
That is hilarious.
John Lynch too. That's a whole other sidebar. Random.
They did sign a good scout guy. So it's going to be very similar to when they brought Elway in to the Broncos.
Right.
Where it's like, we're going to just have this figurehead that everybody knows,
Right.
everybody rallies around, and then we're going to put good football people around him. So
Right. It's like the U.S. government right now.
let's just hope some of the good people are put around him at some point.
There is no good people.
The matchup that I'm most excited to see what the Patriots do is how they match up on defense against those wideouts, especially.
Right.
On that side of the ball, because kind of the way Bill has kind of done it in the past is he'll double your number one threat and then
Right.
maybe play with the number one corner on your secondary
Right.
threat. Whereas Logan Ryan has so much familiarity with Mohamed Sanu, those guys being college roommates and
Right.
whatnot.
Interesting little wrinkle there.
Do they have him on him and Eric Rowe on, and then is Malcolm on like Taylor Gabriel? Or,
I think Malcolm. I wouldn't be surprised to see Logan in what would traditionally be the number one role, doubling up on homeboy.
well, I guess that would be
Julio.
the number 2 role, wouldn't it? I mean, the way like he's done it in the past.
Yeah, well,
is like,
by Pat standards, yes, it'd
Yeah.
be the number 2. I mean, he'd be taking the number one receiver.
Gotcha.
I think it'll be that, and then that. Not Sanu, not the roommate matchup, essentially.
Right.
Sanu.
And where does Eric Rowe play into this? Because
Yeah, I mean, I think Eric Rowe, he's obviously your big body, but if you think that he's going to somehow match up, I mean, on paper, you could make the case like, oh, he's your biggest corner, but,
Right.
let's put him on the big body. But there's, Sanu's no small guy either. That is going to be one of the most interesting matchups, definitely, how they pair those guys up. And the Pats all season really have kind of played with some different looks. But I think it's a bonus right now how well Logan Ryan's playing. And not to mention that these guys tackle well in space, and the running backs are certainly a huge factor too. So
that's definitely huge.
yeah, I mean,
because that's where, much like the Pats, they've been getting mismatches all year with those guys.
right.
They don't really play him often a lot. So I'm thinking it's going to be kind of similar to how they were working, Bell, keeping an eye on Bell and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
And I saw something on the NFL Network where Kurt Warner was talking about kind of seeing what they did in the Pittsburgh, and it was very similar to what they did in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And like one of the things he pointed out was, because obviously Marshall Faulk was a good catcher out of the backfield as well, good receiver out of the backfield.
Best.
Yeah. And so what they would do is just have those DNs, just check them so we couldn't get a nice release. So we may see some of that.
I think absolutely. I mean, I think that's where probably the place where the analogy to that Super Bowl comes into play the most, where it's just a high-flying offense, and you have to hit these guys. You have to disrupt their routes and disrupt their timing as much as you can. So we'll see. I mean, it makes sense, though. They do. I mean, the guy has a lot of weapons at his disposal. I think, obviously, you're going to see double coverage and some combination on Julio. To me, a given this season that really maybe the most overlooked thing about the overlooked Pats defense is just how stout we are against the run. It's almost an afterthought. Alan Branch we've talked about him a lot. Certainly anyone watching the games in and out, week in and out, realize it. But the guy's a force up front. I really think in the trenches on both sides of the ball, advantage Patriots, and I think that bodes really well for the potential for success in the game.
No question. I mean, I think that obviously the big alarm there is on that defensive line is Vic Beasley. I mean, the kid's a beast, 15 and a half sacks, led the NFL this year.
Right.
And, a guy who's no stranger to showing up in Brady's nightmares, Dwight Freeney on the other side,
right.
Kind of brought in as a
Kicked
little
the
bit
dust
of
off a little bit.
I think it's just, he's got a bye week. This is his last chance probably really in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He's going to be, gearing it up
He'll be
too.
geared up.
So
no
it's
question.
going to be real important to get that ball out early and just have those guys have a bunch of empty rushes.
Right.
Where they get a little tired and slow those down. And it was good that we had Houston have so much success with that up the middle rush as well.
Right.
Because, and we were talking about that, about how that Houston game went so well because the Pats won, but, they looked ugly doing it, and lesson learned. So that, I'm sure, has been being drilled, for the past few weeks. Not only drilled, but drilled by the best offensive line coach in the game, and Mr. Dante Scarnecchia, whose effect on this team cannot be underestimated.
No question, man. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm right there with you. Also, a factor is that this D-line is not Houston's D-line, that being the Falcons. I feel pretty solid about that, as far as our offense matching up against their defense. Certainly the worst defense we've played in the postseason, and probably not one of the, top half of the defenses that we've played this year. So they're young and talented and peaking.
That's the thing.
I think the youth is going to be potentially. I mean, they're shockingly young. To be honest, like every stud on that D is in their first or second year, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Other than if Freeney wipes the dust off and has a great game, which is possible, but. Yeah.
No, but I hear.
It's shocking how they're all. I mean, bodes real well for their future, but again, the master chess player out there. I just think these are some of the places where you see kind of some red flags, I guess, on Atlanta's side of the line. I think the youth on D is probably maybe the most glaring.
Yes, and I lick my chops when there's like a young quarterback for Bill to feast on, and then secondly is probably a young secondary that they can feast on. And you look at them, and they got Keanu O'Neal and Devondre Campbell and Deion Jones, and all these guys are rookies playing big minutes on that defense.
It's all their leaders on
Brian
defense.
Poole is like their another
crazy.
rookie. He's like their nickelback, and so that makes me lick the chops at that as well. That Josh McDaniels has that to work with, and that maybe he's going to be baiting these guys up, and it almost similar to kind of what we saw last week in the defensive backfield of Pittsburgh. Where they have a couple of young guys there, and how they were kind of maybe sucked up a little bit on that run, and the flea flicker got him.
Yeah,
so maybe I don't know if we'll see the flea flicker again, but maybe some reverses taking advantage of over pursuit and things like that. But
yeah.
This is like the second biggest question, and second thing I'm eager to really kind of see how the Pats go about this is, so because of that, inexperience in the secondary, do they just spread them out and see how they match up and go bing, 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 bing? Or do the aforementioned lack of a stoutness there in the interior defensive line lick our lips to say, hey, maybe this is a lot of, blunt force trauma?
Yeah, I mean, well, as we know, no matter what, we're gonna see some touches coming to LG and probably to Dion. And I'm interested, with White as well, just because you have should it be an over pursuit kind of aggressive youthful D kind of sitch, then those screens and checkdowns to White could be huge too. But I mean, it might be I'm running with this analogy, but I could see a scenario. I was dreaming about it a little bit, where you get back to one of these Indianapolis type game plans where, hey, like, yeah, everyone's talking about how fast this D is. It's almost too obvious to just pound the ball, keep it out of the high-powered offense's hands. But should that present itself, and it turns out that they're able to run it down their throat, then I think we take that all day. And you could be looking at, maybe I'm getting carried away, or maybe I'm getting a little greedy, but you could be looking at one of those 3 or 4 touchdown days, a la Jonas Gray or LG against the Colts.
I like where your head's at.
We shall see.
We shall see. Where your head's at.
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see how they attack that D.
So stoked.
But I just, my gut tells, if you had to pick a defense, it's going to be more apt to make the stops when they need to make them. I think the smart money's on the Patriots.
Yeah.
So do the guys in Las Vegas.
And I guess, one of the reasons I kind of making me think about that 0-1 team is like the disrespect and the fact that like kind of a no-name D that was just kind of becoming names, Right. And so you look at a guy like Devin McCourty, and he's like quickly becoming in that echelon of Patriot defenders in the Belichick era, that he talks about. He always talks about Vince and Teddy and Vrabel, and now like Devin McCourty's going to be in that discussion now.
It's true.
And
yeah, he's made some really big plays down the stretch here too. There's been, I can think of a good handful of them that end of game type scenarios, key third down plays, and yeah, he's making big plays. He is making big plays.
And the what's exciting about this defense, this Pats team, and it's obviously what they drill, and it's always about not giving up the big play, keeping it in front of you. And in order to play that kind of defense, you have to have a superior tackling team. Right. And we have the best tackling defense in the league.
It's not a bad one.
It is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, advantage Pats on D. I think. Well, not certainly, at least as far as trying to slow these guys down. I think we have the ingredients to be able to stop them a few times, which is really, potentially all you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Logan Ryan led all cornerbacks in tackles this year, 92.
No big deal.
No big deal.
He's about to cash his checks. What was that tattoo Asante Samuel had that year? Remember that? Like right before he left? It was like, he got a tattoo like right before he left town. It was like, oh,
that's tough.
Oh, man, I can't remember. It was
kind of like Jay Terry getting the Boston Celtics leprechaun. He still got it.
It was a good one. It was like, that guy's not going to be here next year. It's like, give me that money. I can't remember exactly what it was.
We rely on you for the tattoo investigation.
Yes,
because that snag you made with Alan Branch.
That was a good one. Afronauts.
So good.
Get paid?
It may have been good. And also, when you talk about that no-name D, a lot of reasons the no-name D is because we just jettisoned our name guys. You know, I mean, there was a lot of panic coming into the season with Chandler Jones getting shipped out as our best pass rusher, and then we get rid of Jamie Collins 4 weeks into the season, and there's a little more panic. But you got these guys that were picked up at the beginning of the year, and you can see them finally getting comfortable in this defense. The Eric Rose, the Kyle Van Oys, and even Trey Flowers, who was injured a lot last year. Yeah. You see him now getting more comfortable in this defense, and these guys are becoming playmakers. McClellan.
Yeah, I mean,
Shea McClellan,
when he did the old Jamie Collins maneuver over the top. Yeah, but it's
like,
Shea's had some big plays the last month and a half or so.
He's definitely showing up, and like you say, the last 6 weeks or so. Whereas at the beginning of the season, it was just like, all right, I guess this guy's just going to be a special teamer.
Cool, bro.
Special teams, we've just blown smoke up these guys' ass all year, and rightly so. And I think that's going to be a big advantage for the Pats as well.
Right.
I think kick is kind of a wash because they have a good kicker too. I think
Yeah.
punter we have an advantage. I think our cover teams.
I mean, their punter barely came off the bench this year.
that's true. He's a little rusty.
I mean, Atlanta did manage to lose 5 games this year. Kind of something that no one wants to talk about. Granted, as we can attest as well, though, I don't want to undersell the fact that this team is really, the Falcons are really good and explosive as anyone we've seen. The best offense we've seen all year. And the possibility that maybe their defense is the defense that maybe is the 0-1 Patriots that we're completely underestimating because they're young and unknown, but I mean, I don't really believe that, but, I'm just presenting other potential scenarios in the universe. That's also a possibility. Anywho.
Who is just going to be the beast in this game that you're not really thinking about? Give me an offensive guy who's just going to explode.
Marty Bennett. No, it could be Marty. I honestly, today I've convinced myself that LeGarrette could have that
I'm
3
leaning
TD
towards
game.
LGB.
I mean,
He's
they're
been
just
quiet the last two, in the playoffs so
Yeah.
far, and he had a great career year for him. He got to bust up.
He got it, man. Or another sleeper pick. I feel like
Malcolm
is
Mitchell?
James White, Malcolm Mitchell.
Ooh.
I was gonna say James White. Like if they're over pursuing on D, just kind of the screen game. I'm fascinated to see how they attack this defense, just because I mean the speed and the youth. It's a volatile thing. I'm just glad we're on the side that has Belichick. Put it that way.
I wonder if you could find an over-under in Vegas on amount of screens thrown. Because, I mean, they're a big screen team, too.
Yeah.
And just like receptions by running backs. It's like, don't look for it. I mean, that's not time well spent.
I mean, I think I already have the prop bets page open. But,
What are any interesting prop bets?
oh, there's all kinds of good
What's
ones.
the
Let me see.
line looking right now? Is still holding at 3?
Yeah, I've seen it 3 everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
3, and the over-under was at 59. 59.
59. Interesting. I think that could come down a little bit to maybe 57.
Great story about Gronk this week, by the way.
Oh, do you like the over or the under?
59. Let me look back at my prediction. I'm not that good at algebra here. Is that algebra?
Do you have predictions
I got
written down?
Yeah, I did on this one.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Wow.
I got the over, and I'd take the Pats.
I don't like to give predictions because my history is being a mush, but I feel it's
good.
almost like kind of goes with what the show is.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel more confident going into this game than you did the last Super Bowl against Seattle?
Oof. I don't know if I want to answer this question.
Are you in? You don't want to jinx it mode? I'm in the opposite mode.
kind
It's
of.
very bizarre. It's a newfound thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like how confident I feel.
Right.
That's the
Because
problem.
the last time I felt this confident was probably 2007.
Oh man, don't say it. Knock wood.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it. But
I was a bucket of nerves that Super Bowl.
I mean, oh man,
Big time.
Came away with the silver medal though. It was all good.
Oh, terrible.
See, it's like a
That
nice.
was a bronze.
Yeah,
that was like
that was definitely I guess still got some bronze on me from that. The bronze.
Oof.
But yeah, it's definitely kind of interesting. I mean, there's really no bad blood here. It's sort of the quarterbacks are hugging, the coaches are handshake hugging, kind of awkward, but.
That was a very odd section of media day.
Oh yeah,
where they kind of came in the whole bro hug gate or whatever.
Yes,
because that's never happened before. I don't think.
No, yeah, and then they I think it was the first time they put Brady and Ryan together. Like I think that's the first time they did that as well, where they put the QBs together.
Yeah, I saw an interesting interview, that Matt Hasselbeck with Matt Ryan interview, the couple of BC Eagles. But BC Eagles. I thought Matt Ryan kind of was a little revealing, and he was saying that one of the things that he thinks he improved at this year and really kind of helped him get more comfortable in this offense is, in this Kyle Shanahan offense, there's a lot of turning your back to the defense on like bootlegs and stuff like that. And he said that is not something that he was really, comfortable with in the past. and it is something he's got more and more comfortable. I'm hearing that, and I'm thinking, okay, Matty P, you have your defensive end, who I guess would be your right defensive end, who would be on the blind side of Matt Ryan. He is going for no handoff fakes.
Right.
He is in laser focus in the crosshairs, number 2, and just taking him, even if he has to take a penalty because he tackles him without the ball, whatever.
Right.
Because if you label that guy once on one of those things, then things start creeping up.
Creeping.
You know?
Yeah, man.
I was scared about this in the past, and now I'm scared of it again.
It's very true,
Because
man.
Chris Long just knocked out a filling.
I mean, should the Patriots pick a game to have their pass rush come alive? Seems like a pretty opportune time to do it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, Matty Ice does not necessarily get the ball. Unlike our boy Tom, Matt is not necessarily known for getting it out there just, with as much, of a jiff behind him. I mean, he's kind of a traditional drop back QB nowadays. So.
Yeah. That's why it's like a lot of the chatter I'm hearing this week is how Brady doesn't do well if guys are rushing him right up in his face in that interior line.
Right.
I'm like, guess what? Neither does Matt Ryan.
Neither does any quarterback,
Right.
it turns out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as everyone knows, that's the story. Those few times that we've seen Brady struggle, even in the Houston game, it's if you can get that pressure early, you get in his head a little bit, maybe. And but I don't feel like that. I don't feel like Atlanta's D has the ability to do that, to generate consistent pressure. And I also don't feel like the Patriots have the ability to generate consistent pressure. So.
See, now I'm feeling terrible because you and I are both confident, little too confident.
It's all good. No, man. It's
All
all
right.
good. I'm at peace with it.
All right, I got to get to
You
that
know what?
piece.
Our emotions are not going to affect this game.
Okay. All right, in that case, let's do some predictions.
My
What do
dog
you
will
got
have
over
his jersey on, though, because
Bazook piece?
Bazook will have his jersey on because the last time he wore it was the last Super Bowl victory. So.
Oh, nice.
Not that I'm not superstitious at all. He will be. We will be wearing the same clothes that we did 2 years ago. That is a fact.
Well, you and I watched it 2 years ago. Did Bazook
We
come?
did.
Was Bazook with us?
He wasn't, but he was in his jersey.
Okay, all right.
I have photographic evidence of this. Did you see Cooper Manning, by the way, at all?
He had some getup?
Yeah, he was wearing money. Like, I don't know what the story behind it was, but I thought it was a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
Dressed in like a money suit, like just dollar bills all over his.
Oh, really?
Weird, yeah.
Oof.
Very weird.
I did want to give Tom E. Curran some props today when, former St. Anselm Hawk, go Hawks.
Yeah, baby.
He tried to, keep Goodell to task. His task is, he's like, well, it isn't exactly that you had the evidence in the courts. It's just the courts, ruled that you, and, Goodell came back at him, but Tom wanted to get his other question in there, so he kind of
had to ease off a little
kind
bit.
of left it off. But, I'm glad there's a Hawk.
Hell yeah, getting a little
On the
jab
patrol,
in. Absolutely. Got to get it in when you can, man.
Keeping his feet to the fire. So let me have your. I'm gonna jot down some numbers here myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got a score in mind, or?
I mean, yeah, I do. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
41-24 Patriots.
41-24 Pats.
I think the D steps up. I think we are in fact, as Shanahan hinted at, I think we are in fact the best D they've seen all year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Pats D makes some big stops early. I think, unlike Green Bay, we're going to show up and play some D, and I think our offense is every bit the juggernaut they can be when they bring it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Atlanta matches up that well defensively. I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the whole gang, Josh, I think they put together a great game plan to take advantage of the youth, move the ball consistently all day, rip the ball up the gut, get guys open. Jules has a monster day. Marty B has maybe his second best game of the year. I think it's going to be a great day for the offense. And I think the Patriots D shows up, and you know what? I think third and fourth quarter, we're eating pizza. We're not even near having a stroke.
Oh,
You
that'd
know?
be great.
Yeah.
Because your heart was in your mouth last Super Bowl.
It sure was. I believe my face was under a pillow as Malcolm Butler was making that interception.
Oh man! All right. Well, I hope.
How
you're
about
right.
yourself?
I am gonna go with 34-19 Patriots.
Ooh, a little low scoring.
A little
action.
low scoring. I like the under. I think this D really shows up. I think that Atlanta kind of moves the ball, but they're held to 3 an awful lot.
Yes.
That bend but don't break mantra. And I think that even though they outgain us in yardage, we get the win. They're going to outgain us in yardage because our special teams are going to come up big. I don't know if they're going to get a score.
Okay.
But there's going to be a big play on special teams, whether it be a turnover or a return that goes down inside the red zone. And I think impeccable punt coverage is going to happen.
I like the sound of that.
So it's going to be a lot of field position game. Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking. When everybody starts talking about shootout, it makes me think under.
A lot of times it happens that way. It does happen that way. And it is the Super Bowl, so we have seen it where high-powered offenses can kind of settle down a little bit. It's happened.
I do want to put a number in everybody's bean, and that is 30 points. Okay, and when the opponent scores 30 points or more, the Atlanta Falcons this season are 1-5.
Not bad.
And we got a guy TB12 underneath center who he can throw up 30.
He can throw up 30 on a middling defense.
And I'm doing what he told me to do. I'm staying hydrated. I'm getting myself ready for the game.
There it is.
As he said in his Monday presser or before with the rally. Before he went out, come clean, ding, a ding. Here's to a big win for the Pats.
Water, baby.
Oh, it's so tasty.
Question for you.
Okay.
Should the Patriots win, where would you put the percentage, or do you think there's any chance that it's the last game we see for either Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
I don't think Belichick. But I've been throwing this idea around in my head of him just walking off.
Belichick or Brady?
Brady. Goodell gives him the thing. He's like, thanks. Boom. Mic drop. I'm out.
See, I feel
Jimmy G's your quarterback.
I feel like it might be
my quarterback.
More possible. I don't think, for the record, I don't think either of them goes, but it's good convo.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more likely that it would be Bill.
Really?
And just hand the reins to Josh, and as if it were already kind of maybe a backdoor.
Wow.
I'm not predicting this. I just feel I could see that, and then Josh and Brady kind of, maybe Dayball pump comes up. And
I've always, just thought Bill would outlast Brady.
Yeah, I we'll see what happens. Just that that storybook ending, when he goes smooch his blonde gal on the sidelines again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just.
She wants to spend some time on the boat.
I guess so.
With old BB.
On the old 7 rings. Should it go that way?
Oh, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. We shall see.
I'm so excited.
Confidence aside, there are several ways that the game could go the opposite way.
Yeah.
I don't want to end on that note, but
I think the key for that D is how we're going to be able to cover those running backs out in pass patterns. Kyle Van Noy's going to have to really rise up. We're going to be playing a lot of nickel defense. They run a lot of 2 tight end sets as well. So, Patty Chung's going to have to come up and be playing stout. So
one thing that was interesting, I saw, I don't know if you saw this as well. Some people were breaking it down. Many of the games that Julio had huge games, like it didn't have the impact that you would think. Like, so essentially, a lot of the games where he was really contained, they won. And some of the games where he just put up astronomical numbers, they were his, the worst games for the team.
Yeah.
So it's almost not a direct,
Well, it's interesting, and that kind of like speaks to the similarities on offense they have with the Pats, because Tom Brady's always kind of known as that guy that'll spread it around to the open man, and it's a different game plan every week. You throw it to the open guy, but you look at Matt Ryan this season, he threw touchdown passes to 13 different receivers, you know, so they're kind of cut from that same cloth. So it's really going to be less of we're going to take away their top weapon like Bill likes to do, or at least people like to point at Bill like that's what he do. But they have a plethora of weapons, so
no question.
They're going to have to really kind of blanket them all over the field. So
yeah, they're going to need a big game. I mean, the way the Falcons could win it is, almost as if the opposite of what I'm saying is that they're just young enough that they don't even realize the stage they're on. Maybe kind of like Tom Brady back in his first stab at it, where they don't even realize, holy geez, how did we pull that off? But the turnover battle, of course, is always a huge impact. So if a couple key plays, one way or the other, could really determine this one. So we'll see. But
we got about 30 seconds left. Do you want to sneak anything in there?
5 gold medals.
5 gold medals. Let's get that 5th gold medal. Let's cement the legacy of the GOAT coach and the GOAT quarterback.
Be a happy show next week, should they do it.
Yes.
Fingers crossed, baby.
Yep. Gang, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we'll be back next week, Wednesday, around 11, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So Edelman Brady p.m. Eastern Time. Check us out on that. For Denny Harris, I am Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Patriots Wrap 360. Thanks for tuning in with us, guys. Go Pats. Happy birthday, Rob Ninkovich.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Hey, good morning, Kyle. Nice new backpack.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.